Today, millions of people visit Korea and other destinations around the world each year. Some speak the language, traveling to reconnect with family, culture, and heritage. Others arrive for work, business, or opportunity. Our world is more connected than ever before, and cities continue to innovate to accommodate an increasingly global society. Few nations have embraced that challenge more completely than South Korea. From its expansive transportation network to its highly centralized governance, to advanced data and monitoring centers that oversee one of the world's largest megacities, South Korea has quietly become a blueprint for the city of tomorrow.
They have a systematic program that they train young people and select these top talents to promote their culture.
Mostly ask about North Korean and South Korean issue, not about K-pop or culture or any other things. But within 10 years, there's so much changes.
Yet language barriers are still a cause for concern for travelers.
It's just a bam, 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 bam. Nothing is happening.
A life-threatening medical emergency shows just how delicate such disconnected language barriers can have on global cities. This is how one student almost died abroad.
Yeah, so I was so excited. It was finally a day that we could relax. You know, we had been working so hard on this trip and everything, and we finally got to experience the culture, and I was so excited for a spa day. And I show up, this place is gorgeous. I mean, to the nines, everything. I'm pretty sure there was a waterfall when we walked in. It was amazing. Service so sweet, so kind. And then I'm laying on the table, you know, got in pretty fast. And she is hitting all the right points and all of that. I'm feeling so relaxed. Suddenly, my sinuses drained, and I'm like, okay, maybe I needed that. You know, I was a little bit stuffy. Seoul's air is a little bit congestive, if you will. And I was really feeling that. And then so it's like draining. I'm doing this heated hydrofacial, right? It's like a little suction cup. And then I hear a pop in my ear. It's like a bag of chips just pop. And then I'm just suddenly so nauseous. The lady's like trying to ask me the best if I'm like all right, but I couldn't explain to her, you know, I didn't want to do this poor lady. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna sit through it, get this done, maybe it's nothing. But then I get this loud ringing in my ear. And I stand up from the table, I'm so nauseous. She's like trying her best to ask if I'm okay. I'm like saying I'm not okay, like, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave, right? It's okay, it's fine. I didn't wanna say anything, maybe I'll just walk it off, right? Trying to walk it off. Then I make my self go outside, you know, get some fresh air. Going to Zara, you know, Cesar had a little bit left of time for his facial, so I had to kill time somewhere. Zara's right across the corner. So I'm shopping inside the Zara, just trying to forget, you know, about the pain. And then suddenly, we get to the fitting room and I'm literally on the floor and I'm like, I'm gonna throw up right here. This is the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. I need help. Like, I cannot manage to make it back to the hotel by myself. I was thinking about letting Cesar just like, you know, go figure the thing out by himself. He's a grown man, he can figure it out. But I was like, oh my God, no, I need help. Like, I'm calling him up, he's in his facial. I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's people yelling, like, you know, for the fitting room, like, a dime, you know, like, oh my God, I gotta go. And I'm just stuck in there sitting on the floor, just not okay. Finally meet up with Cesar inside the Zara, and I'm like looking at him and I'm like, I'm not okay. And he looks at me like, oh girl, you're not okay. Like, yeah, I need help. We finally make it inside the Uber, and I remember sitting outside waiting for it. I'm like, I'm gonna die here. Like, this is it. I'm toast. Burnt toast, in fact. And so finally get in the car, I'm like literally crying. Like, the guy is like zooming through traffic, like pressing on the brakes, and I'm like, oh my God, my head, it feels like my brain's just hitting the top of my head. It's awful.
So we get to the hotel, and by this point she's like completely sick. You know, the standard sickness symptoms: nausea, headache, coughing. And so I look up on the maps for pharmacies, and most of them are closed. And I'm like, well, that's weird. But I found one across the street inside the mall. In Korea, most of the pharmacies, they're not like anything like the pharmacies here in the US. Most of the over-the-counter prescriptions are still behind the counter. Not all the time, but a lot of the cold medication are behind the counter. And so I'm talking to the pharmacist and telling her my friend's symptoms. And so she brings out 2 prescriptions for the treatments. And then I get a text message. So I told her to text me immediately if discharge started coming out of her ear, because I knew that the discharge meant that there was an ear infection. And when I told the pharmacist this, she was like, yes, she needs to go to the hospital now. I had her take the medication as the pharmacist told her to, wrote it in English, the directions for taking the medication. And then we immediately started looking for a hospital. And so I'm looking on my phone and I'm like, okay, hospitals, nothing, closed, that's weird. Let's try to find another hospital, also closed. Another hospital over here, closed. Hospital there, closed. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Access to the hospital is, of course, one of the most critical accessibility type that transportation planners and engineers, designers need to solve in modern cities.
So that's when I decided to loop our professor in, who was the advisor for the trip. So I had his Instagram, so I called him, hoping that he would answer.
So when I got the phone call and heard like one of my students was sick, but first thing I thought is it should be okay. There's good medical system in Korea, and I know the big hospital, they have doctors who speak English, so I didn't worry about how to take care of this.
Once the ambulance finally got there, it kind of went to a standstill because they didn't really know where to take us. Most of the hospitals were closed. As they were asking her for her symptoms, and again, this was back and forth over, they were using a translator app on their devices, and they were asking questions, we were answering, and they were like, there's not any specialists, and there's no ENTs that can see her because it's a holiday, just general medicine, but they can't actually treat it. So we're like, shit. So ended up just going to the hospital so she could get some medications to alleviate the symptoms. But the closest hospital was like 30 minutes away. So we get there.
In the hospital, I'm talking to this robot again, and like, we're a smart city, like only to an extent, you know? It's just so frustrating. Like, imagine if I was in childbirth and I'm like, robot, child. Like, what are you supposed to do? Well, that's exactly what I did. I said, ear pain, like left ear pain, help. Like, and then the lady sitting at the front desk, thank God there was an actual human I could talk to. She's speaking Korean, I'm speaking English. There's no shot I have a lick of Korean in me to like explain anything. It's just a bam, 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 bam. Nothing is happening like as efficiently as I thought it would. And of course we did have to go to the ER because of Buddha's birthday. So there's like also people with like, that really look like they're in pain, you know? Like it was kind of an insight, honestly, to their medical system overall as well, because I remember this woman in there and she was incredibly sick. But the way that they have, you know, shared healthcare and everything, everyone's waiting in the same exact line, getting the same exact medicine, and everything is very even. And so now I'm finally laying in a bed, being seen by a nurse and by a doctor, and it's been hours. Like, the sun has gone down. The initial time of the crime was at like 1 maybe, not even. And so I'm laying down there in the bed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do? They're looking at my ear and everything. They're telling me everything that I already know, or like at least to the best of their ability, because there is a very big translation gap. That is not ideal. I just want this pain to be over. Like, I'm so tired of it.
But they didn't give her any medication in the hospital. Usually we're used to, when you go to the hospital, they'll give you something that you can take in the moment until you can go to the pharmacy to get the actual prescription they're writing. So, but they didn't do any of that.
And then they tell me like I'm released, like I just have to go pick up the medicine. Okay, where do I pick up the medicine? It's Buddha's birthday. Like, what is open? These pharmacies are all closed. It's already nighttime. This has taken forever. And now I have to go scavenge for a pharmacy? Are you kidding me? The first one that they sent me to, there ended up being some problem with it. It wasn't loading properly. Finally ended up figuring out a place to go.
We went to the pharmacy, I had to take an Uber.
It's inside of this strip mall. We're navigating this tiny little strip mall, finally getting there.
And we get there, and mind you, all of the prescription and her discharge papers were all in Korean.
No one's there. We're like, ding, 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 like, please let us in, like, ringing the bell, like, oh my gosh, this man comes hustling out the corner, speaking to us in Korean. We're like, help me. I'm like showing the like information. They like all wrote it down in like Korean of what I would need.
The pharmacist has some English proficiency, and we're talking to him to fill the prescription, and something just told me like I should translate this just to make sure that the prescription they gave her isn't going to cause an adverse reaction, because she said she was allergic to penicillin and amoxicillin.
I'm deathly allergic to amoxicillin, penicillin, sulfa. Like, I will go into anaphylactic shock. Like, my throat closes up, I die. I've been into anaphylactic shock 8 times. You don't want to do it.
So I used Google Translate, the lens. You can now just scan your phone or scan your camera over the text and it'll automatically translate it. And so I did that, and then I copied all the ingredients into ChatGPT, and I was like, does this contain these drugs that will cause a medical emergency?
Guess what? It's amoxicillin. It's amoxicillin. I will literally die right there. Thank God I decided to check it. I'm sitting there and I'm so frustrated, and the guy's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not a doctor. Like, okay, we'll call the doctor. We can't call the doctor. Over like this language barrier, that's not gonna work. And it was just so infuriating. It's like, okay, do you guys not like care? Like, thanks. Like, now you're gonna have one of your like tourist visitors, like, I don't know, like die from a medicine that you prescribed them. That's crazy. Some nasty work. So then they're on the phone with the doctor's office, starts like handling it. I'm literally huddled in the corner of this pharmacy, like crying still. I'm just like so sick, haven't eaten anything, like I'm just so not okay. My ears going crazy still with the ringing, like. Then they ended up prescribing me another round of meds. That one was wrong too. It was like the penicillin that happened for the next one. I was like, oh my gosh, of course. Go back at it again.
Another charade of phone calls. The phone tree is in Korean, so I couldn't understand it. But Apple now has Live Translate. So I turned that on and it was translating what they were saying in English, so I knew which buttons to press. But every time I called, for some reason, like, the phone disconnected. Called again, phone disconnected. Like, couldn't get a hold of anybody, like they weren't working, but we were just there. Finally, after probably 20 minutes at the pharmacy, we were able to get a new prescription sent over.
They ended up just prescribing me a bunch of steroids. So, you know, like, it was unfortunate matters. You know, they can't be passing around their like top like antibiotics. It's healthcare. It's what's the word I'm looking for? No, it's just, I guess, yeah, it's their process that they have over there. So they ended up getting the steroid, and so I was up, awake at night, just like, my body was sweating profusely, in so much pain. It was just awful.
But that was kind of how that all happened. But the entire time I was thinking, this is just really, really bad.
But could this have been avoided? What if better systems were in place to catch these errors when you're not proficient in the local language?
Central coordination and planning is important, like smart city programs, so that they can set up different scenarios to see what are the possibilities where these things happen and what we should do and how different parties can respond to these scenarios and what are the impact or cost and consequences of these different types of responses. So if we can plan ahead and react quickly within the scenarios that are of our control, so we can have more time beforehand to get to the best options or solutions as possible when the things actually happen.
The U.S. it's actually a very good example of this global medical system, because we have different immigrant people speaking different languages. So actually, in many hospitals, they have like translators, right? Because they have to make sure the patient understand what the doctors do on their body. They use their own translators, and I think they were right. And so US have those systems already.
But what if that language barrier were a thing of the past? The concept has been around for decades in science fiction. In his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams introduces the Babel fish, a fish that translates the alien Vogon's language into his own. Star Trek had the Universal Translator, and Google Translate launched over 20 years ago and changed how we communicate with cultures outside of our own. But still, language barriers are a high contributor to patient safety events. No longer are these technologies science fiction. Generative AI has completely changed the game, and Apple may already have the solution. June 9th, 2025. At its annual WWDC event, Apple unveils Live Translate, a game-changer in real-time translation. From phone calls, text messages, FaceTime, and even in-person conversations.
Estoy pensando ir a Japón y quería ver si tenías algunas sugerencias para...
I'm thinking of going to Japan, and I wanted to see if you had any suggestions for me where to stay and where to eat, as I'm a vegetarian. I'm worried that there aren't many places to eat.
So, if you go to Buddhist restaurants,
si vas a restaurantes budistas que estarán cerca de algunos de los santuarios y están en todas partes.
Translation is embedded directly into communication, requiring no active input once enabled. March 23, 2010. President Obama signs H.R. 3590, better known as Obamacare.
So in the US, we're governed by two laws, the Civil Rights Act and the Affordable Care Act. And these really do require the providers to provide patients with limited English proficiency and communication services, whether that be an interpreter, and also providing medical documents in their native language when they have limited English proficiency. And so these technologies, new technologies, especially ambient AI and translation apps, they can really help providers while they're in the clinic, being able to translate what they're speaking in the moment, and being able to flag anything that, based on your medical records, the AI knows would cause a medical reaction, such as medication that you have an allergic reaction to.
So what you're asking is about actually replacing the translator with AI technology, and that's less involvement of human being. I would say it's more like privacy protection that could be with the technology.
But as healthcare data breaches continue to affect millions of people and require organizations to invest significant resources protecting centralized databases, consumer-mediated healthcare offers a different approach.
Consumer-mediated healthcare data is exactly what it sounds like. The patient becomes the primary manager of their own health information. Instead of your medical records being siloed within a single doctor's office or hospital system, you control how your data is stored and shared. Information from devices like an Apple Watch, Oura Ring, or Fitbit includes sleep data, activity, heart rate, and other health metrics. Those can exist alongside your lab results, imaging, prescriptions, and even clinical notes from the doctor with your patient-controlled record. This makes it much easier to share your complete up-to-date information with any healthcare provider. In the United States, health systems commonly use platforms such as Epic's MyChart or Athena's Health's patient portals. But it also functions as a health exchange system. But the challenge is that these systems pretty much stop at their national borders.
Consumer-mediated health exchange could close this gap in an increasingly globalized world, creating greater efficiency and service. What began as a summer study abroad quickly became a nightmare. Caught between the language barrier and uncertainty during a national holiday, they exposed threads in a highly advanced megacity that threatened its status in the ranks of global cities. It is clear simple translation apps are not the pinnacle of global communication. New technologies are needed and being developed to close this gap. With hundreds of new artificial intelligence developers entering the global market, maybe one day soon, the universal translator will truly be achieved.